There's absolutely nothing appealing about an Ironman race, but I think as I started to figure out what it was and I went down the YouTube rabbit hole, the exhilaration that I was seeing on people's faces crossing the finish line, that was just something that I knew I had to experience for myself. An Ironman is probably one of the most physically and mentally demanding challenges when it comes to endurance sports. An Ironman is a 2.4 mile swim, followed by a 112 mile bike ride, and then capped off with a 26.2 mile run. I raced a half Ironman in May of 2024, and I set a time goal that I wanted to finish it in under 6 hours. And although I did accomplish that goal, it was something, looking back in hindsight, that was probably just wrapped up in ego. And setting a goal of a time for some is great, right? It allows you to push yourself to limits that you might not be able to do otherwise. But I think there's some false fallacies in that, and the fact that you can get so wrapped up in the result that you forget about the process. And for me, I just want to make sure that I'm putting everything I have into every single day of training and let the rest take care of itself. I have a lot of doubts about finishing this race. I think about it almost every day, especially with putting a series out like this and the attention that it might get and the pressure that I'm gonna inevitably put on myself to be able to finish. I think about that a lot, but I just don't think quitting is even an option. I'm gonna have my own back, and I'm gonna do whatever it takes to finish. So growing up, I didn't have the easiest childhood. I immersed myself in sports growing up just as an escape to get away from the things that were going on at home. For me, that was my outlet. That was my escape. That was my way to cope with the things that I didn't know how to cope with. Hockey gave me a lot of those things. Hockey allowed me to feel like I fit in somewhere when I didn't feel like I fit in anywhere else. I stopped playing at 18 years old, and I have a lot of regrets and emotions tied around not playing anymore, because I think I left the game not necessarily on my own terms. I want to finish this race on my own terms and hopefully get some closure on the hockey career that I left probably too soon. I think the beauty of a triathlon, of something like an Ironman, is the fact that it is just you versus you. When it comes to training, when it comes to the actual race itself, you are going to get out of it exactly what you put into it. There is no way to cheat the Ironman. It will expose you in the most brutal ways. And so I think just going to the depths of my own soul to uncover what I'm really made of is, something that I'm looking forward to the most. I'm not the smartest. I'm not the most talented. I'm not the most gifted. I'm not the fastest. But I think one thing that I do probably better than most is the fact that I can suffer better than almost anybody out there. And so that's what I'm gonna lean into. That is the fact that regardless if I feel like I'm suffering in this race, everybody else around me is going through the same thing. And that in itself is fuel for me to just keep going. I think there's a lot of parts of my life that I've purposely left out of the public for very good reasons. But as I'm going through the process, one thing that keeps coming to mind is how somebody could possibly be inspired by what I'm doing. And so I was totally consumed with the process the first go around. And now that I can wrap my mind around what to expect this time, I think it's time to turn the cameras on.